Welcome to Raw Radio.
You can say it. Go.
And we're live. You like
fired.
it? That was my best game show.
You're fired.
And we're live.
We are live.
And we're live.
Well, we're live.
So I
first,
just had a really,
first of all, I was on the floor majority of this episode. What?
I had a really good time.
I never thought Melissa Haueter is so funny. Oh my God. If you haven't listened to the full episode, you have to, just from entertainment purposes. And there's so much.
Yeah, and she gets more entertaining as the deeper we get. I think we all got a little more comfortable. And yeah, man, she was funny. She was really funny. And if you don't know who she is, check her out. Because she's on the forefront of a lot of things. And but
You're struggling
the takeaway, I'm not struggling. I'm trying to figure out what you want to talk about.
Listen, one of the things that struck me during this entire conversation, I'll take a lead.
Please do. And then I'll clean it up.
This takeaway is going to be a disaster.
Fits right in with everything else we do.
One of the things that struck me during that conversation, on a serious note, was Melissa said, be your own hero when it comes to training jiu-jitsu training. Yeah. So what did she mean by that exactly? And I think this is deep. This is deep topic. We could probably take this takeaway later, talk about it for hours. We're going to try to wrap this up in the next 15 minutes or so. But the point is that you have all these tools around you. You have training partners. You have your instructors, most definitely. You have some of the higher belts, people who challenge you on the mat. You have now video libraries, endless lists of where you can get information, books. But the point is that if you do all of that and you don't push yourself, if you don't take responsibility for your own training, they're all useless. And the moment then when she said, be your own hero and really drive your own training, look at the instructor as a tool for towards your success, to use it for you to grow, not the expectation for the instructor to make you better. Things will change. And that's a very different view, don't you think?
Yeah. I think a lot of times people want their instructor to almost do it for them. Show me the techniques so I don't have to put in the work, right? Because if you think the technique is going to come easy, it's going to come natural, right? And they show you all this cool stuff, and then all of a sudden you're really good at jiu-jitsu. But no, I think you really have to take the lead yourself by showing up to class, spending time on the mat, drilling, doing your own research or whatever you do at home. And you have to be like anything in life. You have to be your own best advocate. Otherwise, things aren't you're not going to fulfill the things that you want to do, whether it's in jiu-jitsu or anything else. It's just not going to happen. And I think that's what she meant. To be your own hero. Nobody's going to do it for you, whether that comes, in any aspect of life. And it's not really like you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps type of thing. It's more of, you have to find it within you to persevere, to push forward, and that's really, really hard to do for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. But, use others for inspiration, use others for guidance, let them set the path for you, but it's really up to you whether or not you're going to follow it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think there are levels to all of this. Some people need push physically, some people need push mentally, other people need support, but none of that changes the fact that you need to show up first. And I know the story about the swimming Olympic coach that I told the academy. Have you heard that story? I know.
I think so. Yeah, and I think you've told it once before on here. You might have.
Have I?
But
I don't think I.
Get in the pool, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Go
I'll
ahead.
I'll say again because it is mind blowing, and it really stuck in my mind, for a couple of years now. But I had this privilege of meeting an Olympic coach, a swimming Olympic coach, and as it all was happening, I as nosy and as annoying as I am, we start talking, and it's like, I found out that he actually taught Olympic athletes, and it's like, so smartest question, right? It's like, so what do you need to do to get to the Olympic level? What separates the Olympians from everybody else? What's the recipe? And I remember he looked me right in the eyes with a smirk on his face, and he said, "Get in the pool."
Hmm.
And I literally respond to him, "Well, thanks, genius."
Right.
And he laughed at me. He's like, "No, you don't get it. You don't get it. It's get in the pool. That's all
Yeah.
it takes." It really takes getting into the pool. You can't do anything in swimming without getting in the pool. That's the step one. That's the first thing. It's not the towel, it's not your flip flop. It's getting into the pool. It's not sitting on the couch. It's not dreaming. It's not visualizing the gold medal. It's getting into the pool and getting those laps. Then it hit me how close that is to what we do, because very often, more often than not, sometimes getting onto the mat is the hardest thing that's in front of us.
Yeah.
The life is so complicated today, and there's so many things. We get pulled in so many directions, and priorities are not always in line with what we really want. Getting to the academy is hard. So
It
get
can be for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Getting on the mat, getting in the pool, getting on the mat. But it's like anything else. If you want to make a movie, make the movie. If you want to write a novel, write the novel. You're not going to become inspired one day and pour out a book, all at once.
Hmm.
Write it, sit down, do it, you know. Um, and it's the exact same thing when it comes to jujitsu. If you want to get better at it, put in the time. You have to get better at it. Nobody's going to make you better. Like we said, people will push you if you've got good training partners and whatnot. But there's people that are really good at it that are doing it with somebody like Gustavo Gasparin, that they're doing it with just him, or they're doing it, you know, via Zoom, and they're getting better and better and better.
Hmm.
But they're putting in the time, they're putting in the effort, they're doing it. You know, um, you just got to do it.
Well, and Gustavo Dantas talked about this a couple episodes ago too, right? Set yourself a goal, put in this little box, close the box, and now think about what you need to do to get to the stuff that's in the box. Don't
Yeah.
overthink what's in the box. Just now create a plan, execute it. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what Melissa was leaning towards here, is really take a responsibility behind your training, and learning one-on-one is definitely has its benefits, but being in a class has its benefits, and
Yeah.
and having sessions, I'm sorry, sparring sessions has its benefits, and drilling, there is a benefit to it. So more, and we talked about this recently, more you dip into all these opportunities, more you're going to benefit from it. But just as an instructor, like, I always encourage students, try to understand what you're trying to learn, like really put effort into this. Don't brainlessly sit, watch somebody do it, and then just repeat the steps. Put some thought into this. Understand what the mechanics are. Where's the balance? How do we, what are they trying to do, and what am I trying to do? How do we
Mm-hmm.
counter each other? How can I use this to my advantage? It is a
Right.
chess game in a sense.
Yeah.
To
Well, I think people need to open their eyes a little bit more as to what's actually really happening on the mat. Oh, I'm getting smashed. Well, you are, but what's really being controlled? Is it my hips or is it my shoulders? Okay, it's my shoulders. What can I do with my hips, or vice versa? Take the initiative to break things down a little bit more, from just I got smashed, and figure out how things are happening so that you can work your way out of it, so you can develop a plan to not get smashed, and I think that it kind of works. That's one specific case, but it works for everything, where it's like, okay, this is my obstacle, I've got to figure out a way around it.
Mhm.
Nobody's going to do it for me. I've got to do it. I've got to get over it, under it, through it myself. And even if you do have obstacles in life that people get you through, and they do the work, well, then you don't learn from it. You're going to probably find yourself in a similar situation right down the road very
Right.
shortly.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I mean, if somebody does it for you, you didn't learn. You have no takeaways from it, and you can end
yeah,
up in the same position again and again and again, whether it's life or jujitsu or swimming, whatever whatever you're doing.
right.
It's
And
just
hey, I know some people have obstacles that I could never dream of, like things that they've had to go through or are going through. I always try and be empathetic about it, but really the only person that's going to be able to get you through these things in life is yourself.
yeah, and I
And
think this is important to say. I am not saying that life is easy.
mhm,
I'm not saying that whatever you're facing in your life is is not important, or it could be just pushed to the side and you can just plow right through it. No, there are situations they suck. It's just hard. It's
yeah,
hard, but it
mhm,
doesn't mean that you can't figure it out, and you don't have to. Often, you know what? Often, um, we find out it just hit me now. Often we find ourselves in the situations where we pre-COVID we used to train 6, 7, 10 times a week.
mhm,
No, COVID hit. We don't train 10 times a week because we can't. We are unable to. Safety concerns, academy limitations, whatever the case is. So, well, one can quit, or the other one can train twice or 3 times a week, whatever they're able to do, get through this difficult time, and then get more and more and more and more, because it all boils down to the question is how much do you want it?
yeah,
How
yeah.
much do you
And
want it?
Melissa also talked about, when we were talking, she talked about just keeping yourself ready to train again. You don't even have to train
Right.
right now, but just make sure that when things open back up, that you're ready. Right. And how do you do that? Well, there's a lot of different ways at home, and she said, all you really need even is your phone. And you probably don't even need your phone. You don't have to watch a video. I think if you've been training a little bit, you probably can make up your own routine just to keep you ready for when things open back up and you can get back on the mat.
But
Um,
but the hard part is that a lot of us, they say, well, no, I want to go to the academy. I want to train how I used to train. I don't want to do this half-ass stuff.
well,
I
quit
want to
being a
train how I used to train. So I would rather not train
yeah.
at all
Well, guess
than
what?
train this, whatever
Well,
this is. So
so you're being a bitch. Get over it. I'm sorry. You're being a brat, right? You're being a brat about it. If you can't do the things you used to and you can't do them the way you want to, well, figure out a new way. Don't just quit, and bide your time. Things are gonna open back up. If you're like, the academy's closed, I can't go, COVID, my wife won't let me because of whatever, um, then you're a quitter. It's just that simple.
well,
You weren't your own best advocate, and you don't have to train 6 hours a day. Give yourself 20 minutes. Stretch out before you go to bed at night. Do something to set yourself up to get back in the flow. You know when things normalize, and we're getting there. Things are closer. Um, but don't be. I think when you get angry at the outside world for the things you can't do, you're setting yourself up for failure.
you're trying
Uh,
to control things you can't control.
yeah, and
Hmm.
so what's going to happen? You're gonna fail.
Hmm.
Absolutely, you're going to go back to. For me, anyway, I would start probably going back to old habits.
Hmm.
You know, um, I'm not going to lie. Through a lot of this time, I did do a lot of the bad habits that I was doing before, but I always had this other thing that I loved more, this other thing that I needed to do, and that I
Hmm.
was, still working on. Um, but you know, nobody is gonna help you through these things, through these times, other than yourself.
Well, nobody will do it
And
for you.
yeah, nobody can
Yeah.
do it for you.
Right.
You're not a little kid anymore. So get up, You know, I hate that cliche, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. It's not one of those types of things. It's like, just start, put yourself in the right frame of mind to continue pushing forward, moving forward. Because like we've said multiple times already, nobody can do it for you. You've got to do it yourself. Lean on people when you need to, ask for help. There's nothing wrong with that. Ask for help, ask for somebody to push you. Find somebody that you can train with, so that you can keep moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, few easy things you can do, right? One, surround yourself with people who are like-minded, right? Whoever you hang out, that's who you become. So if you're hanging out with people who don't want to train, you're likely not going to train. Surround yourself with people who want to train. That's going to make it much easier. Two, set goals for yourself. Realistic goal, a smart goal, something that you can measure, something that something that you can write down, something that some kind of matrix, some kind of measurement. In the next 3 months, I'm going to do drills 3 times a week for 5 minutes. Boom, that's measurable. That we can track that.
Yeah.
And I bet you, if you do these simple things, step by step, you're going to get closer to where you need to be. And I think most important out of all of this is be realistic. Be realistic. Putting yourself in a position where you say, I'm going to train 10 times a week, like I used to pre-COVID, might not be realistic for everybody.
No, some people are training more because they're just training with a smaller group of people or whatever. Gustavo talked about it. When you said put that goal in that box, he talked about the process goal, right? Mm-hmm. So make that realistic goal for you, and then decide how you're going to get there, and be your own best advocate on the way. I've got to do this. How do I set myself up for success? And keep pushing yourself.
I love it. I think, out of all episodes, this might be the funniest that we've done. And I think it also consists a lot of little golden nuggets, little things here and there, So make sure you guys tune into this one. Listen to it carefully, listen to it a few times. There's a lot of info from Melissa that she's sharing. And then, I'm going to have to listen to that one. That was good.
I listen to them all because I edit them, and some of them are more fun to go back and listen to again. And this will be one of them. I don't think I'm going to have to make a lot of edits in this because it flowed really well. And she's awesome. She's awesome. She's funny.
You know what else she said before we go? That if she does jiu-jitsu, yeah, you do. If she does, she gets cranky.
She gets cranky. Is that my reasoning for always being?
Well, we're gonna start putting some guidelines around your crankiness. We're gonna make you train more, so that you're not as cranky.
I'll be too tired to be cranky. All right. How do you wrap this up? What's your little thing that you say every time?
On to the next one.
On to the next one. All right, sir.
I'm failing at this podcast thing.
That's all right. Be your own best advocate.
That's it. Later.
All right. See you.
Thank you for listening to Raw Radio. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to leave us a review and help us make the show even more amazing. For future episodes, check out our website and follow us on all major podcast platforms. Take care.